Danny Miller was born with 2 strong, healthy legs. And if he had known about the one food that kills diabetes, he might be walking today. But late last year, doctors took a knife to his right leg, amputated half of it, and left Danny with a stump for the rest of his life. That's because Danny was one of 9 million Americans who have type 2 diabetes, but don't know it. Danny only discovered his diabetes after he went to his doctor complaining of pain in his foot and leg. That's when he was diagnosed. But by then it was too late. His out-of-control blood sugar had been rampaging for years inside his body, pummeling the delicate blood vessels in his limbs. Until his circulation got so bad his leg had to be amputated or it would have literally rotted. Hi, I'm Dr. Marlene Merritt, and when I read Danny's story in the news this morning, I counted my blessings that I was able to spot and correct my blood sugar problems in time. And how lucky I am that I discovered how one tasty food can stop diabetes in its tracks. In places where this food is regularly eaten, diabetes and obesity are virtually unknown. But when they've stopped eating it, the rates of diabetes and obesity skyrocket. This food ends sugar cravings, melts away fat, and delivers long-lasting energy without spiking your blood sugar. But chances are, you won't hear a doctor mention it. That's why stories like Danny's are becoming more common every day. By the way, Danny is a real person from Texas, but I changed his name to protect his privacy. If you've been diagnosed with diabetes, I know how frustrating it can be, because nobody wants to end up with amputations, or blindness, or kidney failure, or heart disease or stroke or any of the other painful complications and diseases that are closely linked to out-of-control blood sugar, even cancer and Alzheimer's. We're ready to do whatever our doctor tells us. Take the meds, count the carbs, test our levels constantly, and that's when we realize, when you live with diabetes, suddenly it's like you have a second full-time job. But instead of paying you, this extra job drains hundreds of dollars a month in test strips, lancet needles, insulin shots, medication, extra lab tests, and those panicky races to the emergency room if you get too low. And most people don't understand, even well-meaning friends and family. They might sigh in frustration when you go out to a restaurant and you take a few extra minutes to scour the menu, looking for something that won't send your blood glucose skyrocketing. You know what they're thinking. Geez, all you need to do is lose a few pounds. With a little discipline, then your diabetes would vanish in a heartbeat. That's what I would do. As if it were that easy. They don't know what a challenge it is to keep your blood sugar in check. They don't know what it's like to wake up every morning with a rigid schedule of testing your levels, exercising, eating before your blood sugar gets too low, taking tablets, testing, making sure you have a healthy lunch prepared before you leave the door, testing again at work, taking another tablet, making sure you replace your lancet and your expensive test strips, and even your endo may not be much help. Giving meager advice about diet, don't eat sweets, stuffing a pamphlet in your face as he's watching the clock for his next patient. Forcing you to look for information yourself, so you turn to the internet. And when you can avoid the horror photos of amputations and gangrenous blackened fingers, you're flooded with confusing information, much of it contradicting each other. Well, if you've experienced anything like this, it doesn't have to be this way. As I said, I'm Dr. Marlene, and in this video, I'm going to share my plan for how you can have healthy blood sugar and even reverse your type 2 diabetes, just by making a few simple changes to the way you eat and move. This solution for healthy blood sugar control works by flipping one tiny switch inside the cells of your body. Flipping this switch even helps type 2 diabetics get off drugs and insulin injections, as you'll see in a moment. Just like John Hyatt was able to do, he completely eliminated his insulin shots in just 3 days. John told us,
I was using long-acting insulin in addition to all my oral meds, but it still wasn't working very well. I was still pretty sick with really high numbers between 2 and 275. And then that's when one Sunday I was given the offer to read this if you want to control your diabetes. So that Sunday night I ate my first meal and I got up in the morning. My blood sugar was 80 points lower than it normally was. The next morning I woke up and I'm probably another 40 points. I'm not going to give myself a shot of insulin tonight. I'm going to bed and I'm already 100 points less than what I normally am. That was my last day that I was on insulin. So I've now been off insulin for 3 months. This program works.
John's pretty happy that he's done sticking himself with a needle twice a day. He's also grinning about all the money he's saving, money that used to go out of pocket to pay for insulin, to the tune of $400 a month. As John put it, that adds up to a Hawaii vacation each year. And John's not alone. Charles W. from Waco, Texas, cut down on his insulin and completely eliminated one of his meds. He told us, "My doctor eliminated one medication, Invokana, and lowered my Levemir insulin from 52 units twice a day to 40 units twice a day. I also have all but stopped injecting."